There is no dishonor in losing the race. There is only dishonor in not racing because you are afraid to lose. Hey guys, it is Sai, aka Nkiru the Love Guru, and it has been 24 hours since my last confession. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today because you already know that I am. I'm back to give you guys a little bit of guidance and self-care, self-love, shadow work, and most importantly, accountability. So let's just hop right on to it. What is my confession? My confession. Today's confession is I confess that I strive for perfection because I fear failure. Ooh, perfectionism. I strive for perfection because I fear failure. The number one thing that we all must remember is no one is perfect. No, not one. No one on this earth is perfect. So perfectionism is merely a farce. It really and truly is. There's nothing that can be perfect. There will always be flaws in each and everything. However, some of us still suffer from this thought of perfectionism. We want things to be perfect. We want it to be right. We want it to be, there's a difference between wanting something to be right and having a standard and wanting something to be perfect. Having standards are good. Seeking perfection will cause you to stagnate. So we have to remember that doing something is better than doing nothing at all. And if you are in a moment of stagnation, you have unfortunately fell over into this realm of perfectionism. You're not looking to make things or to perfect what you're doing or to have a high standard or high quality of what you're doing. You are now in stagnation. It's not going to be perfect. Sometimes in order to get to that level where you're trying to be, that high level standard that you have in your mind for yourself, you have to fail. You have to fail because you have to get the lesson. Sometimes the only way to receive the lesson is in the failure. And until you have allowed yourself to be brave enough to go out, try it, and fail, you cannot get the proper tips to course correct and implement so that you can do it better next time. There's nothing wrong with having a goal. There's nothing wrong with having standards. There's nothing wrong with having this thing to strive towards. But there is something wrong when all of those things prevent you from having action. They prevent you from moving forward. Then we got a problem. We have a problem. Houston, there is a problem. So perfectionism, where does it come from? I believe that one of the biggest places that that perfectionism comes out of is overachieving. If you were overachiever in your younger years, maybe in your elementary years, you were AB student, high achiever in your grade school years, you seek those marks. You seek those moments of validation. You seek those things that give you that little nod that, yeah, you're doing great. You're heading towards the right direction. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be validated. You're probably a person that loves words of affirmation, but we can't allow that search for those words of affirmation to prevent us from moving forward. We have to allow it to be a goal and not a deterrent. Another reason why you could fall into this habit of perfectionism is people pleasing. Being concerned about reaching the goals and expectations others have set on you, and making them proud, having this notion of, I want them to be proud of me. I want them to be proud of what I have done. And it's still very similar to that markers of getting this validation from others. But seeking this validation from other people could ultimately deter you. And sometimes it's directly said that this is what is expected of you, and then other times it's inferred. We have these thoughts completely made up in our own heads that this is what someone else is looking for me to do when they've never said that at all. They've never said that at all. Sometimes we've come up with that all on our own, and we allow ourselves to become prisoners in our own minds, and we do not progress at all because we are trying to uphold and reach a standard that our minds have crafted to keep us in prison, to keep us from progressing at all. You got to run the race to win. You got to step in the stadium to win. You got to get on the field to win. You got to start to win. So if you don't do that because you're afraid of making a mistake, you will never win. How can you win? You're not in the game. You automatically lose because you chose not to play. So don't put yourself in a situation to where you are pigeonholed into a particular position that doesn't allow you the space and to move. Don't put yourself in that situation at all. Okay, guys, let's tap back into the question of the day, the action item from yesterday. It was, what is something very small that you can do today to change your life? What is something very, very, very tiny, itsy bitsy small that you could do to change your life? And yesterday, my answer to that question was set a mandatory bedtime. Because let me tell you something, I be up and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I take a nap and I go to bed in the middle of I'm all over the place. It's just not consistent. And I need to set a mandatory time to where it's like, nope, this is it. I'm going to go to bed at this time. I'm going to wake up at this time. And I'm going to get some sort of consistency for my rest. That's a small thing that I decided to set for myself. Even if I, quote unquote, am not tired, I am going to go to bed at the same time every day. That is my one thing that I decided to set for myself. What's yours? I hope you are writing all of this down in your journal. I hope you are keeping track, and I hope it is helping you learn a little bit more about yourself and get more familiar with what you need to look at and what you need to work on. Okay, so let's open the Word. Let's open the Bible. The Bible says in Romans chapter 15, verse 7. Romans chapter 15, verse 7. Turn over here. It says, wherefore receive ye one another as Christ also received us to the glory of God. Receive ye one another as Christ often received us to the glory of God. So what is this about? This is about expecting perfection upon people, including yourself. Accept yourself for who you are. So you receive one another, but also receive yourself. Just like Christ receives us to the glory of God. Accept yourself for who you are. Accept yourself. That's step one. He made you. So what's wrong with you? Why can't you accept yourself? Start there. Start with accepting you. The Bible is full of a bunch of flawed individuals. Every single person in this book, every single example in this book, every single person is a flawed, imperfect person doing amazing, miraculous things. They were not made perfect before they started doing it. They were able to do it just as they were. Unperfect. So accept yourself. Accept yourself right where you are. Understand that you have room to grow. As long as you have the breath in your lungs, you have the room to grow. You have an opportunity to progress. You have an opportunity to get better. And that should bring you great joy. It really and truly should. But it won't bring you joy if you won't accept yourself. So that's step one. Accept yourself exactly as you are. Okay, turn with me to James chapter 3, verses 2. James 3, verse 2. It says, "For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body." What is this talking about? So the only person, the only thing that is perfect is something that doesn't offend. And we offend people all the time. We offend ourselves. We offend we offend others. So none of us are perfect. All of us has got room to grow. Each and every last one of us has got something we could be working on. So instead of being concerned with being perfect before you can start, understand it. It's this notion that we think people are watching us. We have this target on us. Nobody's watching you. Nobody's watching you but you. God and you. Wondering when you're going to start. But nobody else is watching you. Everyone that is watching you, all of heavens, they're rooting for you. They're rooting for you to win. They're rooting for you to step up and take a chance. They're rooting for you to win. But the people that you think are watching you, they're not. They're not perfect themselves. They have their own battles that they're going through. They have their own journeys and their own goals that they're trying to reach. Don't be so self-centered that you think that this story, everyone is concerned with you. They're not. Everyone is a main character in their own story. You are the main character in your own. Act like it. Make it a good story. Do something with the time that you have. Do something with the pages that you're given. Don't be afraid to start, though. Don't let that be your story. Don't let that be the way that you go out. We have to remember in Galatians chapter 1 verses 10, it says, "For do I now persuade men or God? Do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be a servant of Christ." Your job is not to please each other. Your job is to reach your purpose on this earth. Fulfill your purpose. Fulfill your destiny. That's your job. Be in alignment with the Most High and fulfill your destiny. That's your job. Anything else is a waste of time. So you shouldn't be seeking to please any of these men on this earth. No, not one. It matters not what they think. Because at the end of the day, it's about what's inside of your heart that matters. What's in your heart is your purpose, what you were designed, what you were crafted for. That's what matters. Philippians 1 and 6 says, "Be confident of this very thing, that he which have begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ." So we have to remember that whatever was placed inside of us, whatever was given to us, will come about. We have to be confident that it will. That was why it was placed in you, because it was the best vessel to be utilized in order for that thing to come about. So naturally, it will happen. You don't have to come up with a perfect plan. It's already perfect. It's inside of you. That's the prerequisite. It's already perfect. The plan is already perfect. It's inside of you. I want you guys to remember, last scripture I'm going to give you guys before we close this on out is Psalms 118 verse 8. This is actually my favorite verse in the entire Bible for multiple reasons. It's actually the middlemost verse in the Bible. The middlemost verse in the Bible, the chapter that is right before it is the smallest chapter in the Bible, and the chapter right after it, Psalms 119, is the longest chapter in the Bible. So it's very symbolic. It's very intentionally put. And this is what it says. Psalm 118 verse 8, 1188. It says, "It is better to put your trust in the Lord than to put your confidence in man." If that ain't a message for you, I don't know what to tell you. All right, guys. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys got something from that. But, I'm not going to leave you without giving you a question of the day, an action item. I'm going to give you an action item. Today's action item will be what is your perfect, imperfect trait? What is your perfect, imperfect trait? What is your perfect, imperfect trait? Now, what do I mean by that? What is the thing that, because none of us are perfect, but what is the thing that you do that is imperfect, but it works so well for you? It's something that you can do that no one else can do. Maybe somebody else can do, but it just comes so naturally to you. What is your perfect, imperfect trait? All right, lovelies. I hope to see you guys soon. But, sending you lots of peace, love, and light. And most importantly, accountability. I love you so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.